Dr. Steve Pechenik, and this is Steve Talks. Hi, I'm Dr. Pechenik. I'd like to talk about fake stories, false flags, and fake heroes. As you know, in the past, I've talked about the Sandy Hook false flag. I think this one in Texas, as it was in Parkland and others, is also another false flag. The reason it's created by both liberals and Republicans and politicians is to garner enough money for their political ambitions and to pay off the necessary politicians. The real reason has to do with gun control. That's not going to be the sine qua non of what America has to focus on. The real problem that we have in our schools is the fact that they are very poor. They're poor in training, they're poor in money, they're poor in the quality of the kids who come there. Instead of feeding them where many of them need food on the weekend, and instead of giving them a better education, and instead of paying the teachers a greater salary, we have concentrated on the most absurd thing possible, bringing in security guards at the price of millions of dollars in a county that can barely afford it. I want you people who did this to think about it, both Republicans, Democrats, independents, including the president and the governors. You have committed a major crime against the people of the United States, because not only do we have a very poor education, and China's exceeding us very quickly, but at the same time, we've not addressed another issue, which is the issue of mental health. And contrary to what most people think, we have 40 to 60 million people who have no mental health care whatsoever. I'm not talking about depression and anxiety. I'm talking about severe mental health problems. We have many schizophrenics who have never been treated, and instead we call them homeless. In fact, the National Institute of Mental Health made a major mistake this year, as they have in the past 5 to 10 years, where they didn't even include the schizophrenics in their tally of mental health patients. If it weren't for Dr. Fullatori, whom I knew and respect, he said, you know what, 2 million plus schizophrenics are missing. So we have schizophrenics who are walking in the street and can be very dangerous to everyone. So what do we do about it? We do absolutely nothing about it. Instead, we're garnering money for gun control and for security guards, which have nothing to do with mental health. 40% of the inpatient criminals are really psychiatric patients. The police know that. We know that in psychiatry, but nothing is done about it. Now let's talk about the false heroes. I'm so pleased that the NRA has appointed Ollie North, president of the NRA. There could be no one better suited to be a sociopath, a liar, and a corrupt individual than Ollie North. I knew all about him in the Reagan administration when he lied on the Iran-Contra, when he lied about Reagan, when he lied about his service to the country. I knew all about him when he was incarcerated for Section 8, mental illness, for having been naked and shooting a machine gun in public. But he doesn't talk about that mental health problem. But there is no one better suited to be in the NRA than Ollie North, the sociopath. Then we have another sociopath, John McCain, who we know is dying. We've talked all about him. He is not a hero. But another person who claimed he was a hero, Mitt Romney, the great politician and the great American, forgot to do one thing in his life. As a Mormon, he was a highly dedicated and a religious man. He was very high up in the Mormon church. But what he wasn't high up was his attitude to serving in America. When it came time for him to be drafted in the Vietnam War, he immediately ran to France, to Paris, France, to convert Catholics to Mormonism. And as his lovely wife said, his job in France, where he was ensconced in a mansion with a houseboy and a cook, was the equivalent to those of us who went to Vietnam, Cambodia, or Iran to fight and die in the trenches of combat. So I want you to remember all about Mitt Romney when you're voting for this lovely Mormon by the name of Dr. Michael Kennedy, a doctor and a lawyer. Let me quote Hippocrates, the famous Greek physician. He said, above all else, do no harm. And I will add, I will do much harm to those of us who do great harm to our country and to our children. Good night and goodbye. Hi, this is Dr. Steve Pechenik, and this is Steve Talks.